Hello guys, this is DNA Vault 115 coming back at you again with another video, but before we start I just want to say, do you notice the difference in the audio quality? I have purchased a new studio quality microphone. It's kind of on the lower end, it's not a Blue Yeti or anything, however it should overall increase the quality of the audio in my videos. I didn't want to put a whole bunch of money into YouTube until I start getting some out, but this should help increase the overall quality of the videos, so make sure you guys stick around for more. Today we have a nice top 5, and it's 5 things that need to return to Black Ops 5 Zombies or Vietnam, whatever the next Treyarch Zombies is going to be, that Black Ops 4 did not have for whatever reason. First of all, at number 5, we have rewarding point play. Black Ops 3 and before, you could take weak weapons, fight on any round, you were guaranteed to get 10 points per bullet, and then 50 points per kill. And normally you got 60 points because it was, the bullet plus the 50 points per kill. However, that was not a thing in Black Ops 4. In Black Ops 4, it was damage based. So, it doesn't matter what weapon you had. At a certain point, it would cap you on making your 10 points per bullet, and the only way you would get the rest of the points is by killing. This is horrible because it rewards grabbing the stronger weapons, or the strongest weapons, and kind of punishes grabbing the weaker weapons to either strategize and get yourself set up for the rest of the game, or grab it just to set yourself up for kind of an interesting game, using a weaker weapon for the whole game. Why would you use a weak weapon though if you're going to be punished points wise versus a more damaging weapon? Because the weak weapons normally have pretty crap ammo, so you have to buy ammo a bunch. Next at number 4, we have the specialist being earned. Black Ops 3 was the first ever one where we actually saw specialist weapons in zombies. Black Ops 4 added the addition of those specialists just being kind of handed to you. You got them just for loading up the map. And that's kind of wrong. A lot of people who have been in the game for a long time have said that those specialist weapons in Black Ops 4 made them worse players than the other Call of Duties. I personally think, though, in 3, it was kind of like the right balance where you would do a little and you'd get a lot out of it. It wasn't normally that hard to get the specialist weapon, but it was something that you could do. It added some variety to the gameplay. The specialist weapons also, from 3 versus 4. 4, they were the same for all the maps for each storyline. In 3, it was different for each and every map, with the exception of a couple where they overlapped, and I like that better too, but that's kind of a side note. Next at number 3, we have less cancerous zombie spawns. Starting in Black Ops 3, they actually changed the zombie spawns a little bit, so that way they would start breaking down barriers about the time you got to an area. Now this was still pretty balanced, and it made it so that you had to keep on your toes. However, Black Ops 4 took this to an extreme, where zombies would already be out of the barriers and ready to attack by the time that you were in that room. And I'm not sure about some of you, but sometimes I'm playing zombies to just kind of relax because it's a game that you can play mindlessly on some of the earlier generations of games. In Black Ops 4, you can't do that because the zombies know what room you're going to before you know what room you're going to. It's kind of annoying, it really is, for experienced players and noobs alike. And I just feel like it's better if they just kind of follow behind you. I really feel like the Black Ops 3 one was kind of balanced, and it also rewarded boarding up windows. Because if you didn't have the windows boarded, there were no windows for them to break down to stall them. However, it seems like, as we go along, they end up removing more and more of like the boarded up windows, but that is besides the point. Next, we have number 2. We need to keep the remakes to a minimum. Black Ops 4 did not do that. Every Aether map was a remake or a reimagine. There was not a single original Treyarch map in Black Ops 4 for the Aether storyline, which is honestly the storyline that 90% of people were focusing on anyway. Now, with the Chaos story, that's not going to be an issue, and I imagine that the next Treyarch Zombies is either going to be Chaos or a completely different story. I can't imagine them going back to Aether after ending it not once, but twice now. But remakes, I like them. They really need remakes, especially for the stuff that was on last gen, to bring it, especially with the next console generation coming up. They need to bring all those old maps up using, remakes and remasters, but they shouldn't be treated like new releases. And they did that during Black Ops 4. Next up, and finally, we have at number 1, gameplay progression. And a lot of you are going to say that's very vague, and it is, so that way I can expound on it a little bit. The perks fall into that. The fact that you have the same health throughout the whole entire game definitely falls into that, because there's no way to increase your health. So the zombies hit just as hard on round 1 as they do on round 45. The only thing that changes is their speed. So technically, if you think about it, there's no progression when it comes to that. Now, I'm not exactly for the zombies increasing in damage, but at the same time, there's no, it is the same difficulty the whole time. Now, obviously, the perks on Black Ops 4 had their own problems that made you overpowered, but I think that even if it's not Jug, they need to return a way to increase your health. What I suggested early into Black Ops 4 on Reddit, and some people agree with me, I got pounded by some other people for it. Don't take that the wrong way. But it was basically the idea that you started off with your 3-hit system, and then for every 2 perks that you had, you got 50 extra points for health. And I kind of like that system. It still gives progression, but Jug doesn't exist. Speed Cola also falls into that a little bit, but not as much, because they still give it to you by buying all your perks. I'm not exactly a fan of that, but still. Pack-a-Punch falls into that because there was a gameplay progression, but it was horrible and slow and freaking expensive, and it didn't need to be that way. This also kind of goes into the whole gameplay progression of the whole entire game itself. I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of rewarding experiences, and coming off of Black Ops 3, where we were starting to get some rewarding experiences, we were thinking Black Ops 4 was going to be full of them, and it really wasn't. They never actually came out with some of the stuff that was kind of proposed, and I don't want to say promised, but teased about the rewards, but I think part of it was because they had to drop everything just to make Black Ops 4 work. Guess they shouldn't have wasted time getting rid of Jug and just made the maps. I sound really pessimistic about it. I kind of am, just because Black Ops 4 was supposed to be such a good game, and it was so close to being an amazing game. It's so bad that it just missed the mark. Anyway, guys, you have a good day, and I will see you in approximately a week time for another